Are you an emotional person, or would you say you have a cold heart? Have you ever been called a robot or overly sensitive? Emotions are complex and sometimes appear to be an endless map of sketches that you can't make sense out of. One moment you might experience lucidity, and an hour later, all the negative thoughts start creeping back in, trying to tell you just how worthless you are or how you will mess up everything. Nothing is going to work out. Although emotions are sometimes unpredictable, and at times you feel apathetic and empty, but I know that there are always those scenes, those pages, those notes of my favorite songs that can instantly fill me with joy, sorrow, warmness, or send chills down my body. When crafting a good story, one's goal is to be able to reach the viewer's heart, and that applies to any genre. There's no greater feeling than watching a movie where you can just feel the amount of heart and passion that went into each scene, or maybe just one specific scene to convey it in the most beautiful way. For me, there are plenty of media that I know I can turn to experience a vast scope of emotions. This makes me sound like I have no feelings, but often than not, because of different stressful situations, I want to be able to feel something other than despair or apathy and emptiness. In those times, I know that there are those stories that I can use as a fuel to boost my energy or simply lift my spirit. Recently, as I was taking a day off, right before I went for a walk, I put on a random episode of one of my favorite anime, March Comes In Like a Lion. Episode 11 of Season 1 to be exact, and without getting into too much detail, the main character catches a cold, and a family that always offers a helping hand decides to take care of him while he is sick. As he is prepared to sleep in one of the rooms, he looks around, and that room reminds him of his own childhood. This house that he's staying in is old but extremely warm, and as the character melts in this comforting sight, that same feeling seeps through the screen. I felt this indescribable warmness in my heart. On my walk afterwards, as I was taking one step after another with my heart in this soothing state, I reflected upon a few things which nearly moved me to tears. That's the beauty and power that stories hold. La La Land is another story that for me is associated with another specific memory. That movie is the only musical live-action film that I have ever enjoyed, and not just simply enjoyed, but it meant a lot to me at the time. Because back then, I held this dream of becoming an actor. I never acted before and never even trained for it, but as a kid, while watching some movie B-rolls, I thought to myself, actor's job seems pretty cool. Now, over the years, I realized that it really wasn't for me, and I couldn't or wouldn't want to actually become one. But La La Land for me felt like the story about a dream I also had at the time. The soundtrack for that movie, and especially City of Stars, serves as a reminder of that innocent, baseless childhood dream that I left behind. And because of that, I haven't really rewatched that movie in years, but I'm sure that if I do, I will feel nostalgia, sadness, and maybe a little smile would appear on my face, since I've come a long way from that time and have moved on. As I was watching the new trailer for Jurassic World Dominion, I remember the old movies, and that I could rewatch the first one countless times, and each time there is this one scene that gives me exhilaration. It's when the cast enters the Jurassic Park for the first time. With the iconic John Williams score, that scene never fails to make me happy like a little kid, the feeling of getting ready for an exciting adventure. I have talked about Spider-Man a few times on this channel, since he's one of my favorite characters, and naturally I have and still rewatch the movies every now and then, especially some of my favorite scenes. Aunt May's speech about responsibility and dreams always gets me teary-eyed. The whole sequence when Peter gets his powers in the 2002 film reminds me of my childhood and the early 2000s. Peter's endless struggles in the second film reminds me of my sophomore year of college, when I would watch the sequel almost every week and finally be able to relate to some parts of Peter's problems as a young man trying to manage his life. The first The Amazing Spider-Man movie reminds me of my angsty 12-year-old self, and Homecoming is the movie I would put on in the background when I was preparing for my uni entrance exams. That was probably the reason why I didn't do so well in the test, but oh well, I passed. There is one more story that I have to mention that has helped me so many times and is also one of my favorites, and that is Haikyuu. I wish to make a video about it one day, but for now I want to point out that this story has pulled me out of depressive states many times. Seeing some of the characters' growths throughout the story, their ideologies and motivations, never fails to give me that sense of hope. I can always open one of my favorite pages from the manga or one of the scenes from the anime and know that for the next few minutes I will be reminded of an important lesson. Whether it's the protagonist's arduous climb to the top or a side character's backstory about the way they have led their lives, all the failures and losses they experience that are detrimental to their growths. All of these moments make the story not only great, but one that I will never, ever forget, and I wish to talk about a little bit more in a future video, so until then, go ahead and watch it, or read it, or actually do both. You will not regret it, because on the surface level, Haikyuu might seem like just a volleyball anime, but trust me when I say this, that statement cannot be farther from the truth. Because this story is filled to the brim with life lessons that you can learn from. You can and will gain something valuable from this amazing story, and that's what makes it so special for me. Obviously, these are not the only stories that hold a significance to me. The point of this video was not to just talk about movies and shows that I like, but to describe the appreciation I have for them and the way they make me feel. These stories are my allies that can and have lent me a hand when I needed it, or have reached for my heart when I couldn't escape apathy. At the end of the day, isn't it why we all watch movies, read books, and listen to music? We love the way it makes us feel. Sometimes you watch a movie just to be able to drown in the world of fiction and ignore your surroundings for the next few hours. But at other times, you go back to a story to re-experience these specific feelings that you want to feel right at this moment. So what are the stories that you love to re-experience? I've actually started watching another anime recently called Psychic K, or Psychic. It's a hilarious comedy and has actually helped me a ton in coping with stress and a lot of negative feelings that I've been having recently. And now I want to know your picks for those things that rekindled that special something in your heart. It can be anything, honestly. A movie, a book, a show, a manga. It can be a song or a music album. Whatever it is that you like to re-experience for one or another reason to make you feel something, whatever that special feeling is, let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested to see what you guys think. And as always, all the support is much appreciated. Even when I wasn't consistently uploading on this channel, you guys still kept commenting, liking, and subscribing. Although I know that I haven't been great at replying comments, but I promise you that this time I will be replying to each comment. And the ones that I haven't replied to, I'm gonna go back and reply. I apologize, but I am back for real this time. I'm going to be uploading consistently, so I would really appreciate all the continuous support that you guys have already been showing me, so thank you so much. And so yeah, if you don't want to miss my other videos that I will be now posting as often as I possibly can, and I'm going to do my best, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you pretty damn soon. Bye.